And this week, there was a last week there was a question that was posed that I did not get to, and so I wanted to deal with that particular question this week. And that question was, what does it mean to go within? And I was originally asked, how do you go in? But um, because everyone is different and everyone is vibrating at a different frequency, so everyone is unique in their own way as it regards to their path and their journey. I can't tell you how to do anything, but I can let you know what it means to go within. And this is just from my own experience, from the little bit of work that I've done. So, um, welcome, Lydia. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So, this is set up as a question and answer session, but with today's topic, because there is so much information, I want to try to do this within 45 minutes because I don't want to make this too long, but I'm gonna try to get in as much information as I can. So please bear with me. Um, and if you do have any questions, feel free to place it in the comments. And once I'm finished, you can definitely put your, I'll go over your questions, or if there's uh, anything you want to add or input. So what does it mean to go within? And I get that question a lot, and I've been sitting on this for the last few days, almost a week. So I'm very, very excited to share this information. It's been, like I said, it's been on me. So I'm very excited to share this information. So I guess where I want to start with first is understanding and being aware of the importance of going within. You have to understand that how this system or this reality is set up to continuously keep us entertained, or in better words, distracted. So from the various TV shows, the news, everything that's happening around us, um, uh, sports, music. There's nothing wrong with those things, but at the end of the day, you have to know exactly what they are. They are distractions. Okay, they are distractions, and so we are we are kept distracted by entertainment. That's how we are distracted. Now, the the importance of going within, or how to go within, is to understand that all of the everything that you ever need to know in this particular life is from within. And I'll share with you exactly how that works. So um, say if you were, uh, let's say, meditating, and a few days ago, I posted a question on Facebook, asking, what does it mean to you to go within? And I got a few answers, and those answers were given based on the current understanding of where you are now. So none of those answers were wrong, but they were from where you currently are, um, as it pertains to your understanding right now where you are. But based on my experience, I want to help us to understand the process of going within and what that means. So if you're wondering why I'm kind of lingering, it's because I'm just waiting for different ones to come on. But that's not going to stop the show. So, okay, so how do we go within? So first of all, understand this. Um, you have to find stillness. And whatever that means to you, you need to find stillness. That's why I was saying earlier that we are constantly being entertained. We're always constantly being distracted by, our everyday life, work, school, church, other activities. There's nothing wrong with those things, but at the end of the day, they are distractions from being able to go within. So it's really all about finding the balance. It's about finding the balance, um, because you have to, in order to be able to give, you have to have some place to give from. And if you're constantly being depleted and never being restored or refilled, then you're giving from an empty reservoir. You're giving from an empty place. So that's where there's balance that needs to be had, needs to be made. So because we're constantly bombarded by everyday life, everyday living, we need to set time for ourselves in stillness. Okay. Um, and however, whatever that means to you, whether it be meditation or whatever, you need to set a time, stillness. Thank you, Joseph, and welcome. Uh, so, what the stillness looks like. Okay, so when I tell people, well, when I hear people talk about meditation, they always say, well, it's hard for me because I can't stay focused, or I can't quiet my mind, or I'm always, I don't know how to stop the thoughts from coming. Meditation is not entirely about quieting the mind. It's really about tuning in. It's all about tuning in. So it's not about quieting the mind. And the more and more you meditate, the more and more you'll know how to, quote unquote, quiet the mind. But you'll understand focus, because that's really what it is. What you're doing is you're focusing, and you're tuning in. So how I was able to do this and what this looks like for me is that when I get in a place of stillness, and that can be anywhere in your home. Sometimes, people go into to their closet, or they have a space in their bedroom or a living room, and just sit in stillness. And I'm not saying that it needs to be totally silent or quiet, because like me, I live in the city, I live in New York City, and I live on a busy street. So there's noise constantly always being had. There's always constant noise because of where I am. So unless you live out in the suburbs or in a country somewhere, you're not going to get complete silence or quietness. But you're at least able to get some type of stillness. Hold on. Oh, okay. Hey, Donald, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Paul and Joseph. Yes, thank you so much for joining. So, so it's about getting into a place of stillness. That's the first thing. Getting into a place of stillness and being able to tune in. 'Cause that's what you're doing. You're tuning in. So now this is how it works. So basically, um, you hold a frequency. Now remember last week I talked about how we are energy, everything is energy. So basically you hold a frequency, your core, your body, your ism, your soul, you hold a core frequency. So it's about tuning into that frequency. Now this can happen several ways. There is um, some people experience ringing in the ears, and others don't. But that really depends on where you are vibrationally. So depending on depending on where you're vibrating will determine the type of tone. So anyways, let me say it like this. There is a tone or a frequency that you have to tune into. Everyone has their own signature vibration or frequency or tone. Most times it's in the left ear. You may hear a tone or ringing in the left ear. Sometimes you can hear it in the right ear, and sometimes you can hear it in the back of your head. So the goal is that when you're sitting in stillness, is to uh, thank you, Javon. So what you want to do is in your moment of stillness, you want to tap into your frequency. You want to tap into your tone. So basically, as you're sitting there, is really there's a tone or frequency in the back or a ringing or tone, and for everybody it's different. So it's not one particular sound. You know, it could be a hissing, a buzzing, a whistling, a bleep, a pitch. It's a pitch. For everyone it sounds different, but there is a tone that you need to tone into, and it will be faint at first. But the more you put attention there, what you're doing is you're drawing it out. You're allowing it to you're focusing. You're putting your focus and your energy there. So you're allowing that tone to become bigger. So when you tap into that tone, you can hear it. It's because that's where it is. So when you tap into that tone, that is your frequency. Everything is vibration, frequency. Everything is hertz, because everything is energy, and that's how the earth operates. So when you usually, and this is what happened for me, it started in my left ear. There was a tone in my left ear, and you have to understand that your brain is broken into two hemispheres. You have the left hemisphere and you have the right hemisphere. The left hemisphere deals with the physical, meaning earth, your physical body, this physical plane. Your right hemisphere deals with the supernatural, the cosmos, the galactic, the celestial, the spiritual. So most times you hear this tone or frequency in your left ear. Now, what this tone or this frequency is, it communicates to your cells and your DNA. So physically, you are able to understand, because the thing is the frequencies carry messages. And if you have any questions or any input, feel free to put it in the comment section, and I will definitely respond accordingly. But your your tone or frequency carries messages. You have to understand. Hey, Tara, thanks for joining. You have to understand that uh, you are a transmitter. You are a transmitter and a receiver. So you are constantly outputting and inputting. But for so long, what's been happening is you've been receiving information from outwards and bringing it in or down. So for a long time, it's been out, down. But the right way is for it to be in, up. It's kind of like a vortex. So it's supposed to be like this, but for so long in society, everything is set up to where it's coming like this, out and down. But it needs to be going in, up. And I'll explain all that as we get into it. But what happens is your core, you are a receiver, you are a transmitter, so you're always receiving information. So let's deal with the left side first. The left side deals with the physical, deals with the earth. Earth has a resonance, earth has a tone, earth has a vibration. And so this deals with, if you hear the tone, if when you tap into the tone from the left hemisphere of your brain, what that is speaking to your physical body. It is sending messages and information to the physical body. Cosmic orbit meditation. Yes, 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 yes. But when you tune into the frequency or the tone of the ringing from the right, it is being information that's being channeled from the cosmos or the galactic or the supernatural. Okay, so you're receiving the information. Now, how this is set up is that we are a mirror of the macro universe. So we are a micro universe because according to the seven hermetic laws, as above, so below. So we are a micro universe to the macro universe. So everything that goes on in the cosmic system, in the galaxy, is what's going on within us. And so that's why we have that tie or that connection or that frequency, that bandwidth to be able to communicate. So how you balance the supernatural and the reality of this world. I'm going to get to that. I'm coming to that. I'm coming down your street, Paul. But first of all, you have to be able to deal with the physical because you have to raise your vibration. When you raise the vibration of the physical aspect, is when you then become in alignment with the vibration of the supernatural, the spiritual. So, and that's how you do that, by allowing yourself to sit in stillness. Now, you can start off from anywhere from 7 minutes to an hour. When I started out, I was doing about 7 minutes, and now I'm up to an hour where I sit in stillness and meditation. Now, this may or may not happen for you the first time or the second time, but by the third time, you'll definitely begin to pick up and tune into that tone in the back of your head. If you've ever put your ear to a seashell and you was able to hear, that's what it's like. But the more you tap into it, the more you tune into it, the louder it becomes because you're bringing it to the forefront now. So you're bringing it into the forefront. And so basically what this is this allows you, this is basically what is happening is you are being downloaded with information because you are a computer system. We are a human intelligence. And so, hey Dominique, good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining. You are an operating system. You are a computer. You're a human intelligence. And so we are constantly receiving downloads. And the more you meditate, the more you sit in stillness, you are causing yourself to become upgraded. Your hardware, your software is being upgraded. And that's how you raise your vibration. So, what is your take on the four? I'm getting there. Like you're here, I'm getting there. So, and I guess I'll just go there now, because that the 432 hertz is where the earth resonates, the earth and the universe. That's the original core tone or frequency of the earth and the universe is the 432 hertz. That's um the natural vibration or frequency. But I believe it was, and I meant to look this up, but I believe it was after 1932, after World War II, they changed the frequency in music from 432 to 440. So now everything that you hear is in 440 hertz, and that is a distorted frequency. So if you were to so that's pretty much like classical music, Beethoven type music, that 432, and it's healing music. It naturally heals. But since they changed it to 440 hertz, it's distorted. So all the music that you hear now and everything on TV is all in 440 hertz. If you were to place sand or water on a piece of paper or something solid, and you were to put sand or water and you play 432 hertz music, it will start to shape and form into these beautiful crystalline designs, these beautiful geometric, that's what I'm trying to say. It'll form into these beautiful geometric designs. But once you take that same sand and water and you play 440 hertz, it's all distorted and it's just everywhere. It's distorted. And you can Google this. You can type in 432 versus 440 hertz, and you'll see the images where if you play 432 hertz, it creates these beautiful geometric designs and patterns. But again, if you play the 440 hertz, it distorts it. So, because that's where everything is now, we're not able to tap in and tune into our true frequency or tone. So, hey, Lester, thanks for joining. So, our core mission is to tune in, and I use the word tune specifically because that's what we're doing. We're tuning in to our core frequency, our vibration. But because of everything that we experience in our everyday life, it has lowered our vibration. Everything that we experience throughout the day lowers our vibration. So that's why, so that's where the balance comes in, by being able to set aside some time for you to just be in stillness. It's because in that place of stillness, you're able to raise your level of vibration. And once you raise your level of vibration, you're able to face your day from a universal place, I would say. It says, Joseph said, listen to Beethoven #7, second flow is 433. Yes, and pulls the guilt and activity out. Yes, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. That's what that music does. Um, um, but when you're able to find yourself in a place of stillness, what you're doing is you're raising your vibration, and you're able to go in your day from a place of you won't be easily bombarded or taken by surprise. And so throughout your day, whatever you, um, yes, of your auric field, yes. Whatever you experience in your day, uh, you respond to it instead of reacting to it. But let me get back to the frequency and the tone. Um, these frequencies and tones are messages to your cells in your DNA because your DNA carries messages. Your DNA carries messages. In the last video, I said that we have always been here and we will always be here. Now, what does that mean? That is true because of the DNA that you carry. You are your ancestor, and your ancestor is you. So you carry the DNA of your ancestors all the way to the beginning of time. That information from your ancestors is stored within you. So now what we need to do is to tune in and tap into that into that information. So that's what going within means. It means being able to tap into that information that from your ancestors, from your lineage. So if you understand this, that's how we are able to be immortal in this physical plane. Because the thing is spiritually we are immortal. We always exist. But on this physical plane, that was a way for us to remain immortal by reproduction. Okay, so so now that you were produced by your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents, your great great grandparents, all the way back to the beginning of time. So you have access to all of that information within your cells and your DNA. You have access to your ancestors. So that's when you begin to tap into the inner knowing or the all knowing, which is called gnosis. When you begin to tap into your inner knowing, that's what you're tapping into. You're tapping into your ancestors. The messages you're tapping into because it's their you and you are them. It's because you carry that DNA. If I remember correctly, and I'll have to look it up and I'll link it here. But one drop of blood holds about 16 football fields worth of information. I'll have to look it up, but I believe it was Billy Carson from Forbidden Knowledge. I believe it was him. He was doing a talk, and he was explaining how one drop of blood holds about 16 football fields worth of information. So if that's true, just imagine what we have access to within our core selves. So going within is to tune into that frequency, that vibration. Now this is a lot to unpack because there's many moving working parts to this. So I'm trying to explain this as clear as possible, and but at the same time, I don't want to go too long, but it's going to take me a minute to like really break it down and explain it. So basically, when we tune into these to the frequency, our core frequency, we're tuning in. We're accessing our DNA. When we access our DNA, we're tapping into our ancestors, and we're also able to remember, the whole point of it is remembering who we are, but we're also able to remember our past lives, because for the most of us, this is not our first go around um, here in this life. So this, for some of us, this could be our second time, or this could be our third time. For a few of us, this may be the first time, but for the most of us, this is not our first go around. And so when you go within, you're able to tap within, you're able to remember who you are, and then you're also tapping and you're remembering your past lives. And we'll delve into that in a few minutes. But so the second side, basically, the first side, which is the left side, is you raising your vibration so that you can, in order to raise your vibration to align with the universe. As you the more and more you meditate and you sit in stillness and you tune into that vibration, that frequency, that tone in the back of your head, um, and what you're doing is you're continuously bringing it forth, and it's getting louder and louder and louder. You're raising your vibration. So now when you sometimes you'll hear it on the right side. And again, the right side has to deal with the ethereal, or the ethos, or the supernatural, the spiritual, the higher realms, the other dimensions. So now you're tapping into an elevated place. Um, and this is where you're starting to get the downloads and the upgrades. It's because hey, Uncle Marcus, Lisa, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So once you tap into, when you start, because sometimes for me, it was mostly the left side when I first began. Then as I continue, I started hearing it on the right side. And now you can experience several different tones or pitch or frequencies. I've experienced them really, really, really high. And it can be and you can experience more than one frequency happening at a time. I've experienced where there's two or three happening at a time. And sometimes, hey, Uncle Marcus. And sometimes, depending on how big the download is, or the upgrade, it can be piercing. It can be very piercing, and you can get a headache from it, because that's how large the file is that's being downloaded, or you're being upgraded. So it can and the thing is you can actually, tell your guys, like, hey, this is enough, this is too much, like tone it down some. Like, listen, you have access to be able to speak to your angels, your guides, your ancestors. Like, you can definitely tell them. And so sometimes I'll have to say, hey, this is a little bit too much. Can you turn it down, or I need a break. And they'll do that for you, because the thing is you have a delegated assistance. You didn't Once you begin to tap into that tone and that frequency, you will start seeing your galactic family, your guides, your ancestors. You have a team of assistants or helpers to help you along this life. Um, Excuse me, this is the Bronx, so this is what you're gonna get. But you have a team of helpers to help you along this life path, this life journey. But because we don't tune in or tap in, we're not aware of that. And so they are ready to assist us in every possible way. They are our helpers, our assistants. But the thing is they don't move until you give them permission to move. So they can't intervene until you give them that access, So I definitely, you definitely want to employ your, and coming up in the religious system, we already do this, but it's been given different names. So for instance, like the Holy Spirit, that's a spirit guide. That's a helper. That's what that is. It helps us. So when I say spirit guides or angels, don't get spooky on me because we've already been doing this. It's just that we give it different terms or different names. So when you call on the Holy Spirit or when you call on the Holy Ghost or when you call on the angels, like they assist us. That's what they do. They assist us along our journey. But they can only assist us when you release them to. So you have to definitely call on them, ask them for every day. When I get up and I get into meditation, I say, universe, guardian angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, ancestors, galactic family, I ask for your assistance today. I ask for your guidance. I ask for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for guiding me. Thank you for assisting me. Because everything that I do, it has to be from a place of alignment that's to my highest good. So I don't want to out here just be doing random stuff if it's not in line with my destiny. So I call on my team of assistants to help me throughout the day, and they do. And some of you who maybe you haven't even started meditating, but sometimes you already get, this ringing in your ears or this tone in the back of your head. That's your team letting you know to meditate, to go within. It's because they have a download for you. They have information for you that you need along this journey. So I know this information may come off a little bit far off to some, but whatever resonates, take it, and whatever doesn't, just leave it where it is right now. And whenever you need it later, it'll be the right time. But so it's all about tuning in and tapping into that tone of that frequency. Is because that is how the universe communicates. The universe communicates in vibration and frequencies and hertz. That's how that's how it communicates. And so when you tap into your core resonance, your core tone, your vibration, now you can work with that and be able to raise that. And and again, it gives you access to the recesses or to your ancestors to be able to get information. On a grander scale is what you would call. Thank you, Paul. I really appreciate that. Yes, Joseph. A lot of yes. When that's the thing. When you tap into that resonance, when you tap into that frequency, because the thing is we all are clairvoyant. We're all clairaudient. We all have psychic abilities. So in the church world, that's all prophets are. Like we all have this ability. We all have this gift or this innate ability. We all came here with it. And so, but because we're in this church sector, they're known as prophets. But they were just able to tap into that particular frequency. But we all have it. So it's just learning how to. Hey, Dre, thanks for tuning in. So it's really all about learning how to tap into that your core frequency and your vibration, and being able to raise that. Because the higher that you raise it, you're actually you're accessing higher dimensions. Because we live here on this physical plane, and so But when we go within, we're able to access other dimensions and then become multidimensional because we truly are multidimensional. But thank you, Joseph. I forgot what I said. So, but yeah. So again, if you have any questions, anything you want to add or say, just let me know. But so that's pretty much where that is. It's like, you know, going within is in essence tuning in to that core frequency, that vibration, that tone. If you were to, I don't know what type of settings you currently are right now, but if you were to close your eyes and just sit, and what I do is I always do guided breaths. So I breathe in, and what you want to do is you want to breathe into your heart space. Full deep breaths, and then I just breathe out of my nose. And as you sit there and you know, take deep breaths in, there is a tone in the back of your head that you will start to hear. It's very faint. There's a tone in the back of your head that you will hear. The objective is to tune, just to put your attention there. Put your attention into that tune. And the more you put your attention there, because see, this is where you are now. Your vibration right now is like um it's a slow wave, like I don't know, like this. It's a slow wave, your vibration. But the more you tune into it, the more it starts picking up, like so the vibration. And so that's what you want to do. You want to the faster you vibrate, the higher you vibrate. So because of the everyday distractions, we are resonating at a slow vibration. But the more you tune in and tap into your tone, you begin to speed up that vibration and you begin to raise your vibration. And so when you raise your vibration, now you're aligning, you're connecting and you're aligning with the universal vibration. Um, something else that helped me was a meditation, and what I'll do is I'll link it. I'll put the link into the comments when I'm done. But uh, it's called the Om meditation. And that is the frequency of the earth. You when you resonate with the earth's vibration, then it allows you to be able to connect with the universe frequency and vibration. And what these Om does is, because you have 7 chakras or energy ports. You have the root chakra, which is located in the lower pelvis. It's red. And I'll tell you what, I can post a your vibration intensifies when you become aware of self, which is the definition of consciousness. No, that's exactly it. That's Uncle Marcus. Joseph says, so I've been hearing lately about people needing certification in psychic development. How does that resonate with you? I personally don't know if that's really needed. Nothing wrong with training, but isn't that the job of the guides to train you? So, yes. If you listen, that's more that's more for a secular thing. So say if you're trying to offer your services to a mainstream audience, they are going to require some type of certification or some type of paper stating that you have secular training in this place or field. So they require that for a mainstream audience. It is not necessary um, on a personal basis. Like if this is something that you decide to do and you want to help others near you, it's not necessary. You don't need it because you can get all that training within yourself. Because again, everything that you ever need to know for this particular life is already within you. It's just tuning in and tapping into your DNA. Because again, your DNA holds messages, and your DNA is from the beginning of time, from your ancestors, from the beginning of time until now, and even onward. So you have intel within you. Everything you ever need to know is already within you. It's just tapping into those recesses. It's going into those portals. Okay? And that's through your ancestors, because the DNA from your ancestors, you have all of that experience to grab from. Okay? You have all of their experience to grab from, and you also have the experience of your past lives to grab from. Okay, so here is another. Now, this is an Uncle Marcus. This is just how what you said about your vibration intensifies when you become aware of self, which is the definition of consciousness. Now, this is how your vibration is raised. So, by going within, you also have to go through. They call it the what is it called? What is it? The soul of the dark night. Something about the dark night, or it's basically called shadow work, or inner work. So this is how you raise your vibration. This is how you raise your vibration. Now, as you go within, and this deals with the physical. As you go within, there are going to be feelings, emotions, and thoughts that come up. Now, you're going to have to sit with these, feel it, and then integrate it. And basically what is happening is dark night of the soul. Thank you so much, Joseph. Thank you so much. It's the dark night of the soul. So basically what this is what you're doing is, because we live on a linear plane where time is linear. That's on the earth plane. Time is linear. So we deal with progression as far as past, present, and future. But once you understand, it's called the dark. Yes, thank you, Uncle Marcus. Once you understand that outside of this linear plane or the earth, there is no the past, the present, and the future is all right here, right now, hovering in the same spot. So what you're doing now is, okay, well, listen, you can always tune back in, Joseph, whenever you get a chance. But thank you for your time, your space, and your energy. Really appreciate it. So what happens is this: you're going within, and those thoughts, feelings, and emotions that come up are things that you need to deal with. Those are, and sometimes, most times, those are traumas or blocks that you have to deal with. And basically, really what it is you're in essence, you're going back into time, into your childhood, and you're clearing those traumas. So basically, what you're doing now is you're able to go back, and all of those traumatic experiences that you experienced from childhood up, you're able to go back and to heal those areas, send love there, um, heal those areas, integrate and send love there. And as you're healing those areas, it is causing you to raise your vibration, because a lot of us, we are operating from what happened to us in the past, and which is called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And Jacob was left alone suddenly, and he found wrestling with his guide or angel champion. Yes, exactly, exactly. You have to go. Thank you so much, Uncle Marcus. When you deal with yourself, you're going back into the place of those hurts, those pains, and you're healing yourself, and you're sending yourself love, or that aspect of yourself. And so, because this is the best way I can describe it. How you are right now currently is based from your past experiences. So based on your past experiences, you learn ways of coping, techniques of how to deal with things. You set up walls of defense, protecting yourself. And at that particular time, all of those things were necessary. It was necessary at that particular time. But at this particular time where you are now, it is no longer necessary. So you need to trans in or to integrate, and basically what integrate means is to integrating is basically combining two things. And so in this instance, we're integrating love with fear, or love with doubt, love with hurt. And the two main energies that we choose from on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis is fear and love and fear. So everything that you do throughout your entire day is either from a premise of love or fear. Those are the two options. So, because love, I found out that by going within, I was able to be and to evolve. Yes, exactly, and that's how it works. But understanding that fear is the absolute highest vibrational frequency. When you combine love with any other energy, it especially lower energy, it cancels it out. So, because love is the absolute, the ultimate highest vibrational frequency, when you integrate love with fear, when you integrate love with doubt, with hurt, with pain, what you do is you're canceling it out. And so love basically abides, or that's what you're resonating from. And so you're resonating from a place of love, and so that's what you want to do. You want to go back into those pockets, into those spaces of your childhood, and this just naturally comes up when you're in stillness and meditation. You different things come up, and that's why when you sit in meditation, you don't want to be judgmental or critical about any of the thoughts that come to your mind. Do not be judgmental or critical of the thoughts that come to your mind. First of all, what you want to do is just observe them. It's just like looking at clouds. You watch them pass by. Now, if something comes up and it brings up an emotion, then what you do is you sit with that emotion and you feel it, you acknowledge it, You understand, and for me, what I do is because I'll give you an example. One time I was sitting in meditation, and this is going far too long, but I'm gonna try to wrap it up. One time I was sitting in meditation, and the thought came to me, "You're your worst enemy." And so quickly I was trying to just like, what? I'm not my worst enemy. What does that mean? And so I felt my higher self saying, no, sit with that, allow that to be. I said, okay, all right. So I'm my worst enemy because I'm at this point I'm questioning, and because they give you, because again you know, when they tell us that we don't believe this now, but you know they always say don't question God. Okay, question yourself. What you can question things in God, source, universe. You can question them. So basically, the thought came to me, "You're your worst enemy," and I was like, "I'm my worst enemy. Why am I my worst enemy?" So I was guided to sit with that. I was like, "Okay, okay." So you know, I just sat with it, and I was like, "Okay." And so I said, "Why am I my worst enemy?" So as I'm sitting there in meditation, it was shown to me that whenever, because I'm a person that I always have great ideas, and I always start new projects, or I'll start a new job, or I'll start something. Like I'm always good at starting something, but I had never been good at finishing anything or completing anything, but I always started stuff. And so with that, I was shown that because I have a pattern of always starting something and not finishing something or seeing it to flourishing or completion, I was my own worst enemy because I would self-sabotage myself because I was fearful of becoming successful, that I would actually be good at something, because for a long time I didn't feel like I was enough or I was good enough. And so whenever I started seeing like a little bit of success or a little bit of like momentum, I would get overwhelmed, I would get frustrated, and I would just stop. So because like you said, Uncle Marcus, of that awareness, now I was able to raise my consciousness to understand, oh, I'm my worst enemy because I'm always self-sabotaging myself. Every time I get a little bit of success, I stop, I quit. And so now, because I had that awareness, I knew now, I was like, okay, this is the pattern, this is the cycle. So now that I know that's the cycle, I can heal myself of that and not allow myself to continue in that system, that cycle, that pattern of not feeling like I'm good enough or like I deserve to have this. Because a lot of us don't feel like we deserve anything good. And so when we do get those compliments, people do try to look at us like, you know, we try to have that fake church modesty. Oh, well, to God be the glory. It's him. No, it's you, honey. It's you. You do that. You doing that. So we don't give ourselves credit for who we are and what we're capable of doing. Okay, Marcus says the critical mind only draws from the experience and information that you have access to at the present. Absolutely. It just means that you understand it. It just means that you understand the whole picture. Absolutely. Because just like I gave the analogy in the last live I did, when we listen, what I've come to understand and learn is that when you don't allow yourself time of stillness and meditation, you are always going to experience this life from a place of I guess the best way I can explain it is, say if you're in a forest and you're basically, you have access to what only you see was directly in front of you. So you are making your choices don't understand the whole picture story. Yes. You don't you when you're in the forest and you don't know that particular path, you are going based on what you see, what's in front of you. You're making choices and decisions based on what you see before you. But when you when you're in a place of meditation, you now look from a place of aerial. You have an aerial view of things. So you're you have access to an elevated dimension, and you're looking down, right? And so instead of just looking forward, what's directly in front of you, you have an aerial perspective or view of things. So because you have an aerial view of your life now, you're looking at the total picture. So you're now able to see that, oh, further up, there's this opportunity that's coming up. So let me just stay on this path, or let me stay here or continue on this path. Is because if I keep going this way, there is an opportunity that's going to be necessary for where I'm trying to go. But when you look at life just from what you see in front of you, you can only make decisions based on what you see. So you see like a patchy area or a swampy area, you don't, you like trying to like make decisions, oh, should I go this, could I go that way? But you don't know what's beyond that patch or that water area. So you're making decisions based on what you see in front of you instead of making decisions based on the whole entire picture. I hope I explained that well enough. Okay. So as you deal with those places of trauma, of hurt and pain, from past experiences, it causes you to collapse those old timelines. It causes you to get rid of those old narratives, those old stories that you've been telling yourself. I hope my cousin doesn't mind, but I'm gonna use him as an example. But we were having one night, we were just sitting at the table, just talking and laughing and having a conversation like we do, and I just like I erupted into laughter, and I was looking at him and I was laughing, but I was laughing so hard I couldn't get out what I was saying. But I was laughing, and so he started to feel uncomfortable. Like he started to kind of feel insecure. Like, wait, are you laughing at me? And so the whole time I was like trying to get it out, but I couldn't because I was laughing so hard. And so he began to become offended because he thought that I was laughing at him. And so he began to feel insecure. And so, but the whole time I was not coming from that place. I wasn't even thinking it. That was in my mind. But it was a storyline that he created from his own insecurity. And so because of that insecurity, he began to become defensive. And so now he started projecting that on me. I was like, that's a story that you created in your own head that I was laughing at you. But that was not even anything I was doing. And so that's what happens. When things are happening, we tend to make things personal and we make it about ourselves. And we take ownership of those things. That's what happens. We take ownership of those things. And so based on our perception, when people say things or things happen, it's like, oh, well, why are you laughing at me? Or why are you saying this? Or why are you doing that? We take on that based on the narrative, based on those old timelines, those stories that we told ourselves. we begin to reinforce those stories. And so what you have to do now is just collapse those old timelines, heal yourself of that defense mechanism, and understand that in that essence is not about you. And so a lot of times we take ownership of stuff that don't belong to us. Because out of defense and protecting ourselves, we take ownership of trying to protect and defend ourselves. And I mean, you know, I'm not saying don't ever stand up for yourself, but understand where it's coming from. And that's how you're able to work on that through meditation and stillness, by working on yourself. Thank you, Uncle Marcus. By working on yourself, because a lot of times we're easily triggered. And I always tell people to, whenever you feel triggered or bothered by something that someone is doing or saying, that is the moment where the universe is trying to get your awareness. It's because it is letting you know that there is something there is something within you that needs to be healed or repaired. Because it's like, so you have to like, why is what they're doing bothering me? Why is it affecting me the way that it's affecting me? Because you have to understand that we are mirrors to each other. So the people that you have in your life currently, you guys are a vibrational match. So whether that's low vibrating people or high vibrating people, you get to choose the type of people that's in your inner circle, that's in your life. And I will say this, once you start raising your vibration, those people that's vibrating at a low vibration is going to start falling off. And you're going to start attracting people at the level of the vibration that you are currently in. So the people who you currently have in your life right now is a vibrational match. So if it's low vibrational people who is always complaining about everything, got something to say about everything, always down in something, it's just like always got some type of gossip or it's like just whatever, like that's a mirror reflection of what you got going on within you. Because you have to understand what I was telling you, you have to be from a place where it's in up, not out, down. When you're constantly radiating in out, what you put out is what you get back. So that's why I say in the last video, when we sit in stillness and meditation, we are reprogramming that old storyline, that narrative that's been running in the back of our head. Because like I told you, 90% of our life is run from our subconscious. Our subconscious runs about 90% of our everyday life. So when you have old programs and old storylines, old stories and narratives playing in the back of your head, that is what is creating your outer verse. Because this is the inner verse, your outer verse is what you create on the outside of you. So everything that's going on within is being reflected on the outside. So whatever you come in contact with on a day-to-day basis, as far as people is concerned, it's an opportunity to become aware and say, okay, well, what is it in me that I need to fix? If this person is always triggering you, if this person is always bothering you and making you feel a certain way, that is an opportunity for you to level up. That is an opportunity for you to be upgraded, because the universe is letting you know, hey, this is an opportunity for you to become aware that, you know, you're study to overcome in you what bothers you most than others. Right, exactly, exactly. Um, and so when you do that, you are not so easily bothered and taken. That's why now in my life it is so hard for me to to feel a certain way or to get in a certain mood, like, because I'm looking at everything from an aerial view, and I'm understanding and reading energy. So, but that's another conversation for another day. So, I hope I was able to bring some type of clarity to the question of what does it mean to go within. I know it was probably kind of all over the place and it was a lot to take in. And if you have any questions, if you're still unclear, maybe I can, help you a little bit further. But there's no right or wrong way. That's why I didn't title this video How to Go Within, because everybody has their own unique path and journey. So their how is totally up to them. But I just wanted to give you what does it mean to go within, so you'll understand the signs and the symptoms, and of what it means to go. So going within is tuning in to your core vibration, and then allowing that vibration to rise. And another thing I wanted to say is that also too, when you're doing inner healing, that inner work, you're not only just healing your past of this current life, but in most instances, you are also going into past lives and healing traumas and pains and hurt from past lives. Because again, the past, the present, and the future is all right here. It's right here. Everything is right here. It's right here in this space. And so it's not linear. On Earth is linear, but it's all right here. And so you're able to tap into your past lives, and then that's where karma comes in. There was something else I wanted to talk about as far as karma, but this video has ran a little bit long, so I'm gonna go ahead and let it go. But um, you're remembering what this causes you to do is to remember who you truly are, and you're able to tap into your coreness, your oversoul, your higher self. You're able to tap into these entities, and allow these things to come through. That's why for me, because I've always been a fearful, like scaredy person. Like, even though, there was a part of me that I had a boldness to me, but at the end of the day, I was always worried and concerned about what people was gonna say, what people was gonna think about me, and all that stuff. But I'm operating from this place now. It's because I was able to go back and heal those areas where I felt like I was timid and weak and scared and afraid to like really be me and tap into my core and to be unapologetic and just be who I am, like just be in authenticity, like be my true pure self. So that's why for me to be able to be doing this right here, what I'm doing, a few months ago, like even though I did produce some videos this year, but a year ago I couldn't do this. I was afraid to do this because like, oh, like, what are they gonna think about me? Like, what are they gonna say? Like, all that type of stuff. But and it took a process of over 2 years for me to get to where I am. So it's not something that you'll just like, oh, I've been in meditation for 3 days and you're just there. No, I still have a long ways to go. This is an ever, ever, ever evolving process. So you just have to put in the work. You have to put in the energy. And the thing is the more you put in, the more you get out. So the more and listen, if you've never meditated before, don't be so hard on yourself. Like I said, it's going to take you at least 2 or 3 times before you feel comfortable, because the first time you're going to, just be sitting there like trying to get a feel, but your body, it's okay. The perfect example of how this works is like if I'm saying this right, it's like a primer. Okay, so when I was a kid, I would go to my great grandmother's house, and in her front yard she had a pump, it was a water pump, and we would have to pump it a few times before the water would come out. So we would have to prime it. And another example is, say if you get ready to mow the lawn. I don't know if the newer lawnmowers are like the old ones back in the day, because I haven't used a lawnmower in years, so I couldn't even tell you. But the lawnmowers back in the day, there was this little black button you had to push to prime it before you can yank it and get it started. So you have to prime that button. So the first few times when you're meditating, that's what you're doing. You're like priming it. So it's like I don't want you to get up and feel like, oh, nothing happened, I didn't feel anything. No, you have to get into the space of doing it. And so after about the second or third time, it's gonna just click. And your body is human. Your body, like you're a computer. You're a human intelligence. And so your body knows exactly what it needs. And one thing I will say before I close this out is that as you begin to meditate more and sit in stillness, your body is going to start requiring different things from you. Your body is going to tell you that it needs this, and it's going to tell you that it does not need this. So it's going to tell you, stop feeding me this, stop being around this person, stop doing this, and it's going to tell you, I need this. I need to be around nature more. I need to be around water more. Your body's going to tell you that, and you need to listen to that, because your body knows exactly what it needs. And the whole time, our body is always consistently telling us what it needs. But because we're so distracted and we're entertained by other things, we don't hear those messages. And so as you sit in stillness and meditation, your body's going to tell you, okay, I don't want this. I don't need this. Like, don't feed me this anymore. Don't feed me that. This is what, like, feed me this. This is what I need. Or stop being around this person. Start being around this person. Like your body. So you got to start listening to all of that stuff. So, and this is how you raise your vibration. So again, I hope I was able to paint a clear picture for you. If not, let me know, and I'll try to see if I can break it down any further. But this is what it means to go within. That in essence, you're tapping and tuning into that core vibration, that tone, and then raising that tone by doing the inner work and accessing your ancestors. The messages that they left you. The message that they left you in order to fulfill this life, because they left you messages within your DNA. So you have to tap into those messages in order to fulfill your purpose in this life. That's how you know who you are. That's how you remember. Okay, that's how you remember who you are. So you're tapping in, and there's nothing like spooky or like eerie about this. This is true nature. This is what it is. This is how it happens. So anyway, I hope you were able to get some type of understanding, and I appreciate. Actually, it was Dante Hallinan 7 who actually brought this question forth. So I hope I was able to answer it. And at some point when he catches this, I hope you let me know whether I was able to answer your question or not. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. For those who are just tuning in, feel free to go back into the video and if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them, and I will definitely respond. So listen, thank you again. I appreciate your time, your space, and your energy. It is never taken for granted. I want this to be a platform to where yes, DNA memory is very real. Thank you, Carson. very, very real. And like I said, it holds messages. Like I said, and I'm going to link that. I'm trying to link that video in here from uh, Billy Carson, where he talks about that one drop of blood contains about 16 football fields worth of information. So if one drop of blood contains about 16 football fields worth of information, I mean, look at what we're working with here. We literally have all the information from the beginning of the universe. Like, we can tap into that. So, and basically what that is called the inner knowing. That is called the all-knowing, or the gnosis. You know, look up gnosis. That's what we're able to tap into. But we are, the way that the society and the system is set up, we don't have time to go within because of the constant distractions and entertainments. And like I said earlier, there's nothing wrong with these things, but at the end of the day, they are distractions. So church, school, jobs, you know, organizations, functions, they're all distractions because we busy ourselves with being busy. But in order to get that balance that Paul was asking earlier, that balance is spending time in stillness. Once you spend time in stillness, like every question you'll ever have, you'll get answers from, and you'll get inspiration. You'll be inspired. You'll be inspired to do things. You'll get inspiration. There will be times where you'll be having a conversation with someone, and all of this information start flooding up, and you know you ain't never read this, you ain't never seen it, you ain't never heard it, and you're like, where's all the information coming from? That's because you tapped into your inner knowing, your gnosis, and so now you can speak from a place, from a different dimension, because you're speaking from that place of all knowing. So it's just like, and that happens to me all the time. Like, I'm talking to someone, and I know I ain't never read this, to my recollection. I ain't never read it, I ain't never heard it, and I ain't never seen it. But I'm like, where's this stuff coming from? I mean, but it be flowing. It just flows. That's what happens when you go within and you tune. At the end of the day, you're tuning into your core frequency, your core vibration, in order to raise it up. The more you raise it, the more intel you'll receive. Because again, you are a computer. You are hardware and software. You are continually being downloaded and upgraded. So, and as you are upgraded, that's how you evolve. So some of the stuff that was a thing for you last year or the year before last, it's no longer where you are because you received an upgrade, and you evolve, and that's how that works. We're continually being upgraded, leveled up, downloaded into, because of the intel that we're receiving from the universe, from our ancestors, that's helping us to raise our vibration. So I know I repeat myself, but I just want to be sure that you got this. So anyways, I love you guys. Again, thank you for your time, your space, and your energy. And I really love enjoying doing this. I think I found my sweet spot. I think I found like the thing that brings me joy. So yes. So I'm gonna leave you with that, and hopefully this resonates. Like I said, whatever resonates, take, and whatever doesn't, leave it. When it's time for you to resonate with it, it will come back. Trust me. So I love you guys. Have an amazing rest of the day, and we will definitely be in touch. As Feel Good says, I will see you in another version of the now. So, love you guys.